So I'm going to start the video too early. What's going on, guys? So today is the kind of unofficial anniversary of the Shoky Reviews channel. It is in fact August 20th. I'm going to go ahead and straighten that out. And, well, basically, I wanted to do something silly. A lot of people do these things. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch my first video on the channel ever. And I'm going to react to it. Because there's one thing I don't tend to do, and you guys probably have figured this out. I don't tend to go back and watch any of my videos once they're uploaded. Well, I do, depending on the video. Nerdcasts and such like that, I will go back and rewatch. But sometimes my reviews, I don't. And that's how I don't catch a lot of editing mistakes and stuff like that. Sorry. This is what happens when you start a video before you've actually got things completely set up. Quiet, you. It's making noise at me. So I'm going to do a reaction video to my original video, and it is, of course, the GM Thunderbolt gym. So let me go back. I'm going to go all the way back to the oldest thing. Now, guys, here's one thing. You guys probably you never really quite catch. At this point, and mind you, a lot of these things aren't public at the moment. I have 831 videos as of right now, and I've got probably 15 I haven't edited, and I've got 30 to record right now. So, I mean, there's a very, very long way to go. I'm trying to go all the way back to the beginning, as it were. So, bear with me. Alright, so I finally found the video. It's way back there, on the 28th page of my channel. Alright, so it was uploaded on August 21st of 2016. So I'm doing this now because I know last year I screwed up and I did the anniversary stuff on the 20th, not paying any attention, and I caught myself off guard. So I'm dumb, but that's why I'm filming this now for anniversary content. As of right now, it is at 508 views, 12 thumbs up, and 1 thumbs down. I didn't realize that I uploaded that at 5:23 p.m. Wow. Alright, so I know I had the first couple reviews done and uploaded at the same time. So this is one reason why I was confused as to which video came first, because I uploaded the local type review and the gym review on the same evening. One was at like 9:30 at night, the other was at 5:30. So let's watch my first video. Hold on, I gotta start it over. Oop, there's the old logo. Same one that's on the t-shirts. HGUC 1144 Gundam Thunderbolt. Yeah.
Alright guys, what we have today.
Oh my god, that lighting.
Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt RGM 79 GM, or Jim, as commonly referred to.
Now of course I didn't,
And it is the
I had no clue what I was doing.
Now this is in fact the anime version.
Okay, so right off the bat, I've got 2 pieces of white card paper, not cardboard, but you know what I mean, like heavy stock. And I bought that, and that was for mounting Miss Shoky's puzzles. That's what I'm using as a backdrop. I did not have the muslin backdrop for like a few reviews. And I also have the action base, and I was going to use that for like the longest time. And I still only had actually I had 2 lights, I think, still at this point. I had the overhead light that I was using at the time, and then a little bitty, like, desk light. So, oh dear lord. It's so dark and crap right now, it's so funny. Also, it's only at 720p, if I remember correctly. Let me double check. Yeah, it's only 720. And I was shooting this on my old phone. So, if you guys don't know, I use my phone for these things.
Not the previous release manga version. So it's got the more updated color scheme.
And you see the light bar coming across, that's funny.
It's pretty friggin' outstanding. Gotta love that. It is an official Bandai product.
Yes, it is.
It has Gundam Bits, HG Thunderbolt collection, because there is actually the MG selection. I don't have any of those yet, but Maybe someday. So let's take a look at the box.
Still don't have those.
See what's going on here. This side, you get a couple little shots. Flying around with the shields, kind of forward. It does that for the most part. And you got a little bit of a read up there that I can't read because I don't speak Japanese. Then we got the fun part here of the suit with all of its accessories. You know, guns, fists, arms, shields, whatnot. That's pretty cool. Then you got some symbols. I have no idea what they are. And then you come over here, some more things. 15. And that amazing artwork on the front is done by Morishita Naochika.
Still one of my favorite artists.
Well, I think
period.
You actually do some great work. Unfortunately, it's upside down. So.
Okay, so for everyone who wants to know, that right there is the origin of why the boxes are upside down. It is nothing more than an accident of rotating the box to only view 3 sides, and so that the box ends up upside down. I never did all 4 sides because the 2 opposite sides are just repeats of the box art and the name of the kit. So I don't bother rotating it all the way around. I always do the detail side, the one side, and then the side that ends with the barcode and the yen price and that stuff. So that right there is the origin of why my boxes get rotated and end up upside down. It's an in-the-moment decision, and it is literally like, okay, here we go. Too bad it's upside down. Is realistically how it came about.
Let's go ahead and turn it back right side up.
But then I turn it around and go that way.
Alright, that is a beautiful thing. Now this is actually my first gym, so I didn't know what to expect. So, let's go ahead and get to building this guy.
This is also before I learned to control the volume on certain things. And back then I was still trying to hide my face. So it's really funny that my very first build montage, most of my face is on camera. And actually I did build this on my review desk back then because it wasn't as big a mess. And mind you, I didn't have anything set up. And it's so funny that I have the Astaroth right there in the shot. So then I changed it from me to the actual kit being built. Now I've altered my build montages over the years. Though I do kind of want to go back to the ones where I'm partially in camera a little bit. But I do like to be able to see. This one I didn't speed up nearly as much, but you can see me weathering it, all kinds of stuff like that. And for anybody wondering why the build montages are 3 minutes and 5 seconds long, because that's how long they generally are, that is the length of the song. So the actual music is what dictated how long the build montages were going to be. Because you'll see sometimes I'll have short ones, and it's because there's not enough footage for like real quick builds, so I had to actually shorten it. And also something I don't do anymore when I do the build montages is put the kit on a stand to assemble everything below the waist. And it's kind of funny here because it's sitting there with no legs. And then I put it back on the stand right up in the camera. So something I might go back to doing. I'm not gonna lie. I like the idea of it's right here, and then you see me working in the background. So I might go back to that. I kind of dig the way that looks. And this is something, like I said, I never go back and rewatch these old videos, especially these. And I was still very new at my editing software, so I hadn't learned a lot of tricks, especially that I've done now. So yeah, there was a whole lot of work to that GM Thunderbolt. Alright guys, so here we have the completed GM Thunderbolt. And holy crap, look at this thing. It has got guns, like guns. Well, okay, that's the only amount of guns it has. What it does have plenty of those is thrusters. I still really like that kit too, by the way. It's actually a very good kit.
All over the legs, little tiny maneuverable thrusters. All down here, all up on the shoulders, all these little bitty thrusters here.
Yeah, of all the work I've done since doing this channel,
so this thing was
that one
definitely
had a
made for space use.
Ton of paintwork on it, and I guess I don't think about it anymore because once a kit is done, I almost never go back and look at it. It just it's on the shelf unless I bring it back out.
This is an older kit, just redone.
Comparison
really kind of blew my mind.
And like I did a good job. Like, that's the thing. I'm watching this review, looking at it like I did a good job on that gem. I really did.
Which is good to see on an HG.
The knees are damn near
like even now, I would
triple-jointed.
probably
You
do
got
the
the
same
first
thing,
joint
but be a
there,
little
you got a joint
cleaner
down here.
build-wise. But for the most part, I do exactly the same
look at
stuff.
that. Isn't that beautiful? And I love this part. If you can really see in here,
Of course, couldn't really see
all
in
of the
there.
parts where the exposed frame would normally be, they have this cool texture, which actually makes.
I didn't do it on all of them. I just wanted to see how it would look, and it is what it is. I might go back and redo it all later.
Also, I say it is what it is a lot. It's just in my vernacular in
There were
general.
some yellow stickers that came with it that look like they would fit here, but there's no images of even using those stickers. There's no instructions of where to put those stickers. So maybe they were meant for a different kit. I don't know. So I just went ahead and painted them dark because all the images look that way. All of the gaps in here, I mean, you can really get in here. I added a tiny bit of silver.
This thing did require quite a lot of my favorite dark gray ever to paint all the thrusters and things like that. A lot of little silver details, and of course, being a Thunderbolt kit is covered in stickers everywhere, decals.
All the paint detail I had to do. This is actually supposed to be a sticker. Went ahead and painted it.
Yep.
All of the thrusters, just as before. Painted
Every
all the
one of them.
gray detail around there. This whole part right in here is supposed to be a sticker. Went ahead and painted it.
So even right off the bat, when my very first video, I'm showing you what you need to do, like, to make something look accurate. And that's something I tried to kind of carry on throughout my entire history so far. It's like, okay, you can build it straight out of the box. And, you know, I've done that a few times over the years now. Or just literally whatever's in a box, the stickers, and then panel lining, stuff like that. Which, by the way, I'm looking at back here. The panel lining on the inside of the shield was god-awful. But the idea that, like, I painted everything gray that needed to be gray, the outside of all of the vernier, the little details here and there on, like, some of the pads on, like, the elbows and the knees and stuff like that needed to be painted, the joints of the sub-arms, things like that. And it's always kind of like, there's a lot of out-of-the-box reviewers. There's nothing wrong with that, because, like I said, I've done it. But the idea to kind of inspire and show people with just a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, can change a kit dynamically like this, even not using the stickers at all. Or to a degree, you know. So I've used a few on here.
Love that.
Just trying to inspire people to do a little bit more. It's something I always wanted to do on this channel, because I almost never left anything stock.
All of those, that will also be a detail that's included on those. Apparently the master grade is
even to the point of painting the inside of the gym head silver, which nowadays I would paint a chrome, or even use some chrome sticker and, like, wish it.
It's really cool. Let's see here.
Even painting the edge of the collar gray, which is unnecessary.
So articulation.
And back then, of course, I didn't really have a formula for, okay, here's the details, here's the weapons, here's the articulation. But I think I tried to follow that back then. Like, okay, I'm going to go over the stuff I painted and things like that first. I try to do that now. But now when it comes to the reviews, what I want to do, depending on the kit in front of me, and you guys have probably seen this lately, if it has a ton of weapons and gimmicks and stuff like that, I'll do that last. But I'll get the articulation out of the way first. If it has a ton of paint detail, I'll do that. I'll probably do that first just to show off this is what I had to do in the kit to make it work. It just depends. But now it comes down to individual kits. Trying to follow that every hard, steadfast time. So for this guy that required an enormous amount of stickering, enormous amount of paint detail, I did all that first. We're 11 minutes in, which, mind you, right off the bat, my first video was 20 minutes long. And if you exclude the box review, which is about 2 minutes, and then you got 3 minutes and 5 seconds of a build montage, so there's 5 minutes gone. So you're only 6 minutes into an actual review here. So I mean, I've always been long-winded when it comes to this. And some people are like, "Well, I don't know why your videos are so long. This person does it to this length." I talk about everything. And sometimes I shorten videos by accident. I don't even think about it, like I'll miss something. With the Woundwort review that I just did, I did not compare it to anything. It's just there by itself. Which Zeta reminded me of this morning, actually. He's like, you didn't actually compare it to anything. I'm like, no, I didn't. But the only thing I wanted to compare it to was the Hazel, which is buried in my UC shelf down there. And I mean buried. that shelf on the D12 is so freaking full that getting anything out is like a domino effect. So that's the only reason I didn't do it. And because that thing came in last minute and I built it like the day I got it, I didn't have time to really do a whole lot of setup. But
and it's no better than any other HG. And of course you got the, you know, crotch flap. I always cut these because
always cut your crotch flaps
the way they want to. You can come forward this much and get the ridiculous.
Yeah, the articulation on this kit,
you know, it's more than 90 degrees, which is really good. Come back that far. And let's see here. And of course, it got that. It does a tiny bit of a.
It's not easy. So let me get this all set here, and then rotate, and then it rotates here.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more cringe moments, and there are some. Just mostly, I'm looking at my lighting, my setup, my editing, and stuff like that. But one thing I did back then, and I don't worry about it as much now, is shooting in such a way that I have to do so little editing. Like, almost everything you see me do is one take, and I almost never fix it if I don't have to, obviously. But nowadays, like, I'll get phone calls, I'll get a message. Like, actually in this video a minute ago, I got a Facebook message that actually right in the middle of me talking, which will be an abrupt cut for that. Back then, I was literally like, I don't want to edit very much at all. I just want to do transitions as best I can. So for the most part, everything you're seeing is one long take. There's no breaks, no cuts. Now I engineer commercial breaks and stuff like that, which you guys see. I do it like a TV show because that's what I grew up on, actual TV that has commercial breaks and stuff like that. Instead of where a lot of other reviewers or just YouTubers in general just throw in ad breaks whenever. There's no, it's just random, like, here's an ad break in the middle of a sentence. I want it to be, okay, you know, boom, 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 there's your break. You need to go pee? Go pee. You gotta go grab something? Go grab something. So there's your commercial break. You know that what's coming up. So normally it's box review, build montage, if those are there, break. And then you go into the initial part, whether it's articulation or details, whatever, and then next break. Then you go into the next section, which is your weapons, accessories, whatever, whichever order I do it in. Next break, if it's got a transformation, all those things. So that's the way I want to engineer. Back then, no clue what I was doing. I was just add at the end, add at the beginning. Didn't want to know how to insert things. And yeah, trying to figure out how to articulate these shields was very interesting.
These shields really, they're not that effective against like the big gun, for instance. But I like that you can do that. You can actually completely remove these guys and just have no shields there. Now you do also have the ability to.
One thing I'm noticing, I'm not sniffing a lot right then. I'm sniffing a lot now. Oh, there's a cup. That was a bad cut. Sometimes you bump the camera. I also had very limited space back then, whereas now I have a ridiculous SD card.
I can't read Japanese. I just assumed they almost look like ammo clips.
Back when you could still do annotations in the video and actually have text pop up in the video, it says, you know, it turns out those are actually folded up in the arms. I'm dumb. Yeah, I'm stupid. I didn't know what those were.
I didn't even show that off.
I mean, even now, I still make really dumb mistakes or I don't look things up, but back then, I really had no clue about anything.
But they're here. So they're there. They're just one piece for the most part, and they totally just would replace what looks like a gas tank, realistically. You know, space, you gotta kind of do things a little bit differently. But what I was really wanting to get to...
It's still a good-looking kit.
Now, what we can do with the shields, take them off those other arms, and you can totally plug them into the forearms if I clean them all.
Yeah, you plug that on that forearm.
Now it does come with just some clenched fists for when you want to punch things, but why would you want to punch things when you have really cool guns laying around?
Why would you do that?
Once again, so here's the mount piece, and here's your shield, and of course, just like normal, you just get the poly cap on the back there. Okay, so that's going to go this way. Sorry, I've only done this once or twice.
I still only ever do things once or twice, if not the first time on video. Because I like to struggle on... It's really weird. I was like, except for the transformations on like Transformers and stuff like that, I generally go at things either completely cold or only like one go. Because like, I for some reason, I like the idea of I'm going through it for the first time so you guys can see the struggle of going through it the first time. Because, you know, a lot of reviewers, especially if they're transforming stuff, they've gone over it dozens of times before ever popping out the camera, you know, for the review. So they have a very good idea of what they're doing, and you don't get to see the actual struggle and the things that they had to go through to figure it out, or like the determining that, hey, maybe it was quicker to do it this way, or this could go this way, make it even better or easier. So that's one reason why, if you guys are, why is this moron doing this for the first time on camera? That's why. Even now, I still only mess with things once or twice, if at all, before the camera starts rolling, because I want it to be like, this is how it's going to be the first time you try to do this. You know, it's like, if I can handle it, you can probably handle it. And if I'm making a mess of it, maybe you'll do better. We'll see.
Standard Gundam arm shield, and I dig this to a degree. Like, it's cool, but I want the arms over it. So I guess with the full armor Gundam, you kind of get both. You get the arms coming over, and you get the wrist mounted shields. Now you do have this gun.
It's funny it took me so long to actually get to the full armor.
Still have, if you can get it, look at it, still has the same kind of ammo clip, just tinier. But little gas can, jerry can, gas clip. Now these stickers, I think only one or two of them were actually on here, but I had excess. I'd like to give you two of these, so one for the chest. I just put that one there.
Yep. Still put random stickers in places when I got leftovers. That's something I will tell you. If you got leftover decals, especially warning decals, find a good spot for them. Especially if there's a place that doesn't really have any. Odds are they can go there and it'll look pretty good.
So, there you go. And then, of course, you do actually get... I'm going to go ahead and bump the camera now. You get a...
I still bump the camera.
You get a fist. You can't poke.
One thing back then, if you guys don't know, I don't have it in here with me. Actually, it's in the other room. I was filming on a short tripod. Pretty much like one of these, although stiff legs, not these ball joint legs. These were the worst ones that I ever tried to use. I actually use these to wrap around my light sometimes, because you could bend these. So a lot of times in live streams, if I had my camera hanging to film, I did that a lot, and it was really, really dumb. But I was working with the camera set on the desk in front of me, so... Whereas now, I'm on a full-size tripod in front of my desk, which really changed the dynamic of how I work things, especially with the fact that, like right here, literally this is as far away as it is, this right here, the adjustment arm is sticking out so far that half the time I have to take it out to get close enough to manipulate things. In fact, I want to cut off a good 4 or 5 inches off this handle so that I can actually shorten it, but still be able to use the handle. But back then, and for quite some time, I think even into the second year, like rolling into the second year, I didn't have a full-size tripod. I still was using one of these things sitting right here. And if I had anything tall, like a master grade or like a big transformer, the thing, like actually I've got, it's sitting, my computer's sitting on it right now. I have a puzzle box left over from Miss Shoky, and I would set the tripod on top of the box to get more height. Or whatever boxes I've had around, or if I had a thick MG box sitting around, I would have to prop the camera up because it doesn't get taller, not like a real tripod. So that was one struggle that I had back then, and I know a few guys do now. Unboxing Art himself actually just upgraded to a full-size tripod, although he has the same problem. He's working on a desk with a keyboard extension with stuff on it. So he can't actually get his tripod mount anywhere near that. So he's usually shooting on top of his desk. And actually, one thing, I'm going to pick up a new piece of equipment. I told him about it as well, that I'm going to use for live streams and maybe even some reviews. But I'm probably not going to get away from the main tripod mount for like a long time. But I bumped the camera so much back then because like I was working around it. I would bump it with my arm.
There you go.
I'd knock it over. And because that one was a ball joint with a screw to tighten it, sometimes I'd hit it and it'd go plop. Or if I tried to tilt it a little bit, it would fall right off. Still has that problem.
Very basic Jim, but he does things. I'm assuming there's a
Jim
model of this in the show where he's got to have the shields on the arms instead. I don't know.
Still have not seen all of Thunderbolt.
Now, one thing that disappoints me about this kit, and once again, I haven't gotten to the other ones yet, so I don't know. There's nowhere to store this gun. Like, he has to hold the gun. There's normally there'd be like some kind
the beam
of
spray gun
mount back here, like a little flip down peg, or something on the sides here, maybe. No. So
I still don't like kits that don't have weapon storage.
Push that in all the way, and those are just basically swivel poly caps in there that inserts. This technically has its own storage when it's on the arm, but other than that, it does nothing. So it just floats in space, and you don't get to see it anymore.
Yeah, basically, if you run out of ammo, you just drop your weapon and go.
But yeah, I mean, I really dig this kit. I think I'm gonna like the rest of the Thunderbolt line.
They covered it in Unicorn, probably another series, but they were asking like, wait, aren't those Xeon weapons? Basically, we're all engineered to use the same weapons. That if you run out of weapons and you've got some enemy stuff floating around, you can just grab it and pick it up and use it. It's a lot easier than making sure you have your own bespoke weaponry. So yeah, it's funny that they basically make weapons to be disposable for the most part. Totally makes sense though. It's why we developed weapons the way we do in the actual military. We can pick up the enemy's rounds and just slap them in our guns, no problem.
Don't hit me there, guys.
Crotch protection.
So you have it. What you got is a crotch guard. Crotch guard Jim Thunderbolt now. So, oh, that's actually kind of, I like that. I don't know what team he works for, guys. Can you tell me?
Yep.
So, alright. So, that's it for Jim Thunderbolt. I really recommend this kit if you can find it. I know the Thunderbolt lineup is pretty popular at the moment since the anime is kicking. So if you find it, build it. It doesn't take a whole lot of time if you're not doing all the detail work. So a straight build probably wouldn't take you more than a few hours, if that, or a good evening. So what you should do is just take the time to build you a Thunderbolt. Get those nice evening builds in when you're not doing anything. It's been raining a lot lately, guys. Plenty of inside time to build Gundams. So
it was raining a lot
for the Thunderbolt GM. And I will talk to you guys next time. Keep on building.
Alright, so back then in my credit, I didn't have the ability. I didn't know you could do they didn't actually. I don't think they had the end credits that they do now. So my old school ones, Shoky did video and audio, paint and build. Once again, I was not balancing my volume very well back then. Music, intro, outro, build, red smiling head. That's a thing. So anybody who's ever wanted to know where my music came from, I got it off of Audio Jungle, I believe. And the artist's name is Red Smiling Head. That's my intro music, that's my build music, that's my... back then when I had my alternate music for my different videos, the non-mainline review videos and the music that is played in that, and still a song I use fairly often, all came from that. And I did pay for all those as well, basic licensing. But even then, it came with the concept of keep on building. That was like just a thing. Just keep on building. And actually that outro, making sure that that bar dropped exactly on that cue. Also making sure that in the current ones, when the line disappears, it's like, you know, that making sure audio cues line up is not easy. There's been an enormous amount of tweaking over the years to make videos easier to make, so to speak. Every now and then I do screw up. A video very recently, last week before, the end credits had like an extra 4 minutes of blackness, and that's because a single instance of static got left when I dragged everything over, and I didn't catch it because it's literally a sliver when I'm zoomed out and moving chunks of things. Because what I should do is actually make the outro its own video file, because it never changes, and I could just fade from one to the other, because one doesn't really, it never changes. So in reality, I could just make because it's just text. It's text over a black screen. The music starts when it does, and the static or the fade happens when it does. I'm thinking of getting rid of the static. It's kind of annoying, but it's also been here since the beginning, so I don't know. I don't have a good replacement for it. I want to change things up in this new year. I want to do a new intro, though I might wait a couple weeks to bring in a new intro. I might actually wait. I think I didn't change the intro until like 2018 started. I don't think I did it right off the bat. I'll have to go back and look, because now I can go back to a year ago real quick. I don't have to do a whole video for this, but hold on. But yeah, guys, that was that was my first video ever on the YouTubes, as it were. It wasn't the first video I ever made. It's just the first one that ever I uploaded as an actual review. My first review, I will not show you. It was that bad. I was filming on a camera that I still have, but have almost never used. It was actually an HD Handycam bought for myself for Christmas many, many years ago, and I've never effectively used it for anything. I tried to use it for this, and actually the quality, I could not figure out how to get it to work worth the damn. And the cell phone was actually good enough. So, here we are, going into year 2, guys. So, we'll start it off by going all the way back to the beginning. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Go buy yourself a Shoky shirt. If you want to join in on the Patreon, of course, you can go do that. Anybody who definitely helps on the Patreon, I absolutely appreciate it. Anybody who buys a t-shirt and shows that you're part of the Shoky Nation, I absolutely appreciate it. And if you have Shoky gear, if you've bought a t-shirt, post it or tag me in it on the Instagram, show it on the Shoky Facebook page, or even on the Discord. Starting to use the Discord a little bit more, especially for the contest that is going on right now. But it's funny. It's so funny that original video only has 508 views. Actually, I'm amazed that it has 508 views. That means people have gone back and watched it. And that's one thing I'll tell you guys right now. Go back and rewatch my old stuff. See how, if you complain how it is now, go and see what the old one was. And the irony being that the local type, which came out, I think, well, I didn't put it up the next day. That's just when I posted it. It didn't show me when I published it. The local type only has 361 views. So actually my original Thunderbolt review has more than that. And my big gun review, so this is my first 3 reviews, or 4 reviews I should say. The Gem has the most views out of any of it, including the Dom test type. Mind you, back then I only used the box art as my photo, so it is what it is. And the Zeku 2 with the big gun was one of my most favorite builds in those first years, because I did a lot of paint work on that thing. And then right after that is when I started in on my quickies. And that was all stuff I picked up at Hastings. So, but I'm going to go over all that later on in a different video when I go over like the best and stuff like that. So that'll be my anniversary, my proper anniversary video. So, but I'll catch you guys later. And remember, as always, to keep on nerding, to keep on building, and let's keep building this community together as we roll into year 3, and we've already got 3,000 subscribers. So, yay! Though it, oddly enough, it's still at 3,001. So we got to 3,000, and it hasn't really grown much. I'll catch you guys later.